All right, so we up in here. This is on Trump and the global economy, Trump and the GE for short. And this is Trump and the GE. Baltimore cargo ship explodes. And earlier today, a cargo ship exploded. And this is the second, I guess, the second major incident in the Baltimore harbor, or the port of Baltimore, since 2024 when a ship collapsed into the Baltimore Key Bridge and collapsed it. So I'm going to try to share my screen of the explosion.
God. Just be in the way.
Yeah.
Uncle Mom.
Let's call.
There's a tug right behind the guy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
We should have not been smoking.
What the fuck just happened? Holy
Crap.
I knew it was a gem.
Jesus, you heard.
So you saw the explosion. This is important because the second, like I said earlier, is the second, from my understanding, probably the second second major incident since a cargo ship collapsed into the Baltimore Key Bridge a couple years ago, and there were questions about the ship's safety record, whether it had been inspected properly, and from what I understand, the ship experienced a catastrophic power failure shortly after leaving the port, which led to the collapse into the Key Bridge, and the ship was ran out of control. And they couldn't stop it, and the entire bridge collapsed. The bridge wasn't meant to take on that type of impact, and it caused a major disruption in maritime traffic in the Port of Baltimore. All traffic to the Port of Baltimore has stopped. This is since 2024. And it's caused supply chain disruptions. It caused delays in major shipments. And, we covered the event at Trump and the GE, and we thought it was a black swan event. It was something that's going to cause a major problem to the economy because of all the maritime traffic that went to the Port of Baltimore, and the supply chain disruptions, and the fact that the major corporations had to divert traffic away from the Port of Baltimore, which caused delays and extra costs. And again, there was concern over whether there was any impropriety or, I guess, negligence on the part of regulators or on the part of the people who maintain the ship. And so we understand that there have been regular inspections. I don't know if there was an inspection that was missed, but that shouldn't have happened. And so there was question whether the ship was too old or whether it wasn't up to safety standards. And the amount of disruption it's caused to that Port of Baltimore and to the U.S. economy, especially in the mid-Atlantic states, is unacceptable. And somebody's head needs to roll. And we understand that Governor Westmore, who's on top of things, that he would get that Key Bridge rebuilt, and they were expecting to have federal funds from the government and the Biden administration. So that bridge has not been repaired, and then it's another incident in the port of around the Port of Baltimore or the Baltimore Harbor. And if you haven't been aware of the goings on, there's been a major TDT between President Trump and mayors around the country of urban areas like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Chicago, Los Angeles, Oakland. And Trump has already called in the National Guard to take over the police department and to try to bring the crime rates down in Washington, D.C. He called out Baltimore as well, that he was considered bringing troops to Baltimore, Chicago, Oakland, and Los Angeles. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass had a meltdown yesterday. And Governor Westmore of Maryland said that he's adamant he would not allow federal troops into the state of Maryland. So here's his take on Trump's I guess his heavy-handed measures in D.C.
Well, I'm embarrassed. I'm angered, and frankly, I'm heartbroken for the members of the National Guard who are asked to take on this mission. As someone who has served this country overseas and who has led soldiers in combat, and as someone who is not just the 63rd governor of Maryland, but also the commander in chief of the Maryland National Guard, I take very seriously about how, when, and why I deploy members of our National Guard in cases of emergency and in true crises. And I will not authorize the usage of Maryland National Guard forces for missions that I do not deem to be either mission critical or mission aligned. And what we are seeing right now, this distraction, distracting away from the fact that that Donald Trump's policies have caused unemployment to go up, have caused people to lose their health care, has caused children to be able to lose their food benefits, and he's now using this as a tool. He's using because if he really wants to address the issue of violent crime, he just needs to look at what we've done in the state of Maryland over the past 2.5 years, where when I first became the governor in 2022, Baltimore was averaging almost a murder a day. Now, the homicide rate in Baltimore is nearly a 50-year low, and we have watched how the state of Maryland has essentially helped to lead the country in drops in violent crime, in drops in non-fatal shootings, in drops in carjackings. So if he truly wants to understand how to lower crime, he should pay attention to what we're doing in the state of Maryland. And I did it without ever having to once operationalize our National Guard to do municipal policing.
Okay, so that's the sort of clap back from Mayor Westmore, Governor Westmore of Maryland. Okay. And I'm sure Trump is not going to take those comments too kindly. He mentioned there's a tremendous amount of decline in violent crime in Baltimore. Trump is also questioning the crime statistics in Washington, D.C., whether the Mayor Bowser or other people have juked the stats, whether those declining crime rates are real. And as someone recently resigned from the Metropolitan Police Department recently, who questioned whether the stats were real, and also seemed to raise the issue that the mayor was asking this person to juke the stats or to massage the stats or to relabel certain crimes to make it seem like violent crime was declining, to like relabel certain events to other areas to make it seem like even though overall crime wasn't dropping, but violent crime was dropping. So Trump has questioned the actual crime stats in Washington, D.C., and he vowed to follow up on that, have the DOJ follow up on what are the real crime stats, if those crime stats have been forged or have been massaged. And as you know from the TV show The Wire, the city of Baltimore, the police department, and the mayor were known to so-called juke the stats. So we'll see if President Trump even starts to look at Baltimore crime statistics. But at the end of the day, I'm sure he could have an issue with that recent explosion in the port of Baltimore, and he could make an issue of it. He could say something like it's hard for the governor Moore to talk about his policies if the governor can't control his own affairs. He may even talk about bringing federal forces into, or federal out that port to make sure the safety standards are up to par. Who knows? But he could make an issue of this, given Governor Moore's comments about the president and his policies. At the end of the day, that Baltimore Key Bridge has not been repaired. It needs to be repaired, and the state of Maryland is going to need federal funds to repair that bridge, and he's going to have to work with President Trump. And who knows? I mean, I think these comments, whether accurately or not, may not be taken kindly by the president, and the president may not be kindly open to working with the governor to repair that bridge. And he could also use the need for federal funds to repair the bridge and use it as something to hold over the governor's head. So I don't think we're here to end of the shipping collapse in the port of Baltimore. I don't think we heard the end of this T to T between President Trump. It's one-sided so far. No, he mentioned something about Baltimore, but he hasn't really responded to Governor Westmore. But there could, I think we heard. I don't think we heard the end of this back and forth between President Trump and Governor Moore, whether it involves crime statistics, safety record of ships in that port of Baltimore, or federal funds needed to repair the Key Bridge. So that's Trump and the GE. Thank you.